what are those strategies monthly, on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, that you can recommend on terms of how do I give my team sales skills specifically, how to qualify better, how to sell better, how to ask better questions, how to go through the funnel better? Is there anything that you can share here?
I mean, for me, it's very important that they keep discovering. I mean, when you stop discovering and doing questions, you're basically being customer success or whatever else is there in the world, but not sales. Like for me, if you don't keep discovering, how are you going to get referrals? Like if you want your life to be easier,
I like that.
if you like to be easier and you would like to hit your quota without being super stressed prospecting, then referrals is your way, right? Word, mouth to mouth, good word on your work, that's getting referrals. And getting free companies is like getting inbounds, literally, right? Like effortless. So you just have to keep discovering. Like imagine you have a consultancy, I don't know, then I can ask you, what do you care the most? Your customers, the lifetime value of your customers, and try to see if there's any way that you could recommend me to all your customers to my product, So I think if you stop doing discovering,
I should be doing that right away after this episode.
To add,
I agree. No, it's 100% accurate.
And as well, like if you discover and you understand the clients better and better, you learn more about the industry and you can replicate just the information you learn to the competitor, to other companies, right?
Absolutely.
So it's really like
if they're missing information, like
discovery is a gold mine actually for prospecting.
And to look like an industry expert as well. Like if you're going to call a marketing agency to sell whatever product you have, and you extract all the information, you will cut the following marketing agency and you will say market insights. And they will feed you like a professional. So it's a win-win game that you keep asking questions and extracting all the information.
That's crazy.
One part.
Sorry. No, go ahead, please.
Maybe jumping back to the first one, because as salesperson, we're like the lonely wolves, right? We see our target, we have our quota to reach. But one part, like what we had in our last sales kickoff meeting was how many of the individual lonely wolves actually know what is your quota? Because you have also a quota, right? But many of us, we just know our quota, and our manager asks, who of you know what was my quota? What is my quota this year? Or how was my quota last year? Or how was it 2 years ago? No one knew. And if you are a team and really want to reach that quota together, right? I think it's really interesting to know what is your quota, what you have to reach together as a team. How you see that point?
At least my strategy is pretty particular. I like to be transparent with my team. I think transparency is key. When they know what the stakes are, they're gonna not only work for their own safety, but they want their team to be strong enough and to be portrayed as a strong team within the organization. So what I do is I create files where I share to them, okay, instead of only seeing your number and focusing only like a horse who goes like that straight, just give them visibility of how the other people are running their numbers as well.
Love it.
How are they? How many clients are they closing? What's the strategy? What's the top 20 accounts that the team is currently having? And so that you involve them as well. What I want to emphasize here, something that is very important, is that new joiners have to be working with tenured sellers as well. There has to be this way of them.
The body.
Yes, they have to be one same thing that correlates exactly the same. And new joiners, for example, will never know what the tenured sellers are doing if I don't give them the visibility enough.
It's like gamification and internal competition.
But it is
as a team.
Sales is an internal. It's a consistent competition between themselves.
I love that when I saw my name at the top part of the dashboards. I always want to be at the top.
And if you are down, you want to fight to get there because it's a shame on you, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I always try to emphasize as well, bringing up on what I was just saying, that I agree with you guys. Of course, always you want to be on the top of the chart. That's that's the objective, no? But why don't we focus on our team first? Okay, what happens outside our team? It's fine. I think that Sonia can share with me as well. We have pretty similar management styles. Like we care about our team, like our family in a way. We want them to compete against each other, which is fine, but in a way that they can also learn from each other. It's not about seeing the global chart and saying, okay, I want to be on top. But what's actually going to help us evolve as a team? Because ultimately that's what we want. No? We want our team to grow and to expand and to keep it solid. We don't want the team to be with people leaving and coming back and forth. That creates creates a break inside the team, and that's what falls it apart. That's what makes also our lives much more difficult, because when one seller leaves, we have to take on the pipeline, we have to distribute. It's more work for us. I want to keep our sellers engaged, and that's why we always try to give them as much information that we have of what's going on in the team, the success cases, so they can build up from there as well.
You mentioned something key before jumping into another topic that I have in mind, that it's something that breaks the team or it's more difficult to
Yeah.
manage them. It's when you have people coming and going,
Mhm.
and then if you have new people joining as well. So can you walk me through a little bit how you deal with inheriting new guys from different teams, if that's a case, for example, or building teams from scratch? How do you manage this in order to don't break that powerful love and beautiful caring that you have between the team?
Oh, absolutely. I think it all sums up to us, no? The figure of the manager. Managers break or make teams. I think that's fundamental.
I agree,
either
1,000,000%.
if you know how to make a
In that
team,
way.
you can have people coming, going, new teams, new people from different places. But once they see how the flow works within the team, they will get involved. And also, it's our job, or at least how I do it. I know Sonia as well. We have our top tiers within the team. Okay, these are the guys that I want to delegate some responsibility. They're going to help me to continue with this flow, even if the ones before that are on the bottom leave. And who are our top tiers? That's going to vary. It's not always the same guys.
Yeah.
Maybe one guy is doing really well. Okay, I'm going to give them a step up here. And then
Like
the next
internal team leads or
internal
captains.
stuff all the time. Like giving them the prize of, okay, I'm going to delegate you the responsibility of this new joiner because you're doing great. I want you to teach them this guy. Maybe next quarter you're not doing so great. Okay, maybe I'm
No
going to give
worries.
this responsibility to another one. They always want to be engaged. That's what you want to create, a sense of engagement. Apart from the commissions, the targets, and everything that goes on, like I try to focus only on what is controllable, which is my team. And I need my team to be solid. And that's why I create this sort of projects. For example, once I had this project that was called Grupitos, which in English is small groups. Grupitos project was a project where I selected like 3-4 team leaders within my team with new joiners, and I put them together in a strategic way, like either one top performer, one low performer, one that is goes to the Madrid office, for example, with the guys who go there, or I select them, or for example, girls with other girls, or boys with boys. Like I try to do it in a way that is cohesive for them to be more engaged with the people that they feel more confident, or what I feel they will be more confident. And that's part of our job here with Sonia as well, is you got to know your people. Once you know your people, you know how to mix them together in a way that they're going to learn and engage with each other. And ultimately, they're going to bring more results.
And you need to be their best sponsor. I think that's super important. Like whenever they feel that they have this protection and psychological safety, the next step for me in building trust and having a very strong team with less rotation is that they know that you're going to be their best sponsor ever.
Supported.
If you want to become a manager, exactly. But if you want to become a manager, you will do that job with me. I will teach you how I report, how I see the numbers, what am I measuring every week. I will delegate you things like when I'm out of the office, you will take care of the team, you will do this and that. If I have 2-3 people that want to become a manager, my first question will be, getting back to the other point, is what's my quota? They don't know. Then how are you going to become a manager ever if you're not thinking about the big picture? Like if this team is not performing, how are we going to create another team? We cannot create more teams within this market if we're not succeeding. So why you don't care about my quota? Then start carrying
So basically learning, you're helping them on top of everything that we are discussing here. You're helping them developing the skills for the next role in the current role. So whenever they jump into a sales manager role, because this is something that we were talking about as well with Kevin, it's most companies are promoting the top sellers to managers automatically because I don't know why is that or what is the reasoning behind, but most likely, I mean, the skills that you need for being a sales manager or for being the top seller has nothing to do with each other, right?
Two different I think a therapist will be a better
exactly.
manager.
It's completely different. So why this happened?
We help them to help us to help them.
To help them, to help the company.
And they need to understand that.
Perfect summarize. Can you repeat that?
We help the sellers to help us so we can help them again.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's like this.
We can end the episode, right?
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Exactly. I think you reply, and that's it. No, but that's a great point. And again, every time that they say something, I have more questions about that topic. And that's insane because I want to jump into a topic that is super relevant to everyone right now, that it's AI, how AI is transforming the way we sell. How do you see AI replacing some jobs or some tasks? But before getting there, right now I have 2 more questions or 2 more ideas that I would like to discuss with you. That it's the first one. What would be that go-to strategy, prospecting strategy, or selling prospecting strategy that whenever someone joins your team, you say, hey, do this because this is already tested and we know that it works for this specific product? And the second question, But let's jump into that third question. Like, what is the strategy for prospecting that you would say, Tommy, for example?
What I always try to do with new joiners is ask them what they like. What do you like? What do you do? What does your family do? What do you know? Which industries do you like? If you like, for example, Sonia likes a lot of music, I would say, okay, let's work with music. What I always try to say is, okay, think of it on a studio. What happens within a studio? Where do cameras come from? Where the lighting comes from? Who produces the music? Who are the artists? Where does everything come from? And I ask them to scale from there onwards. Like, think of it in a way that where you feel comfortable, you're going to be able to sell better and understand better how to do this. So I try to give them this foot, and then also seasonality. Like, where are we standing towards this time of the year? Now, for example, we're towards the mid-March, for example. Okay, we're going here in Europe into the summer season. Okay, so companies are looking to solutions. Sonia was mentioning travel agencies. We work a lot with travel agencies because they use our corporate cards. Okay, that's going to be a great industry. Let's prospect there now, because they're going to be starting to look for solutions in 2 months' time when the summer is here. Okay, what's going to happen there, for example?
Okay, great. Sonia, what do you think? What's your strategy, prospecting strategy that says, this never failed me?
Data.
Data.
Just see what worked, this quarter, last year, and the previous one, and even in other markets.
Which one worked the most over the last 4.5 years?
It's really diverse, I'd say.
Okay.
Like, it's the product that we sell now, it could be
for everything,
anyone,
yeah.
literally, right? But when you're selling marketing, for example, when I used to sell marketing, seasonality is very important. So you want to impact the audience before they have to book the trips, for example, right? For a travel agency. It's the same with music. Like, it has to be before that band is launching the single, Exactly, before the tour, so the public is hit up, right? So you need to understand that seasonality of the companies. I do ask the same, like, what do you like? What does your family do? What do you know? What's your network? What did you sell before? Because maybe you have a networking that you can, sometimes they do not know, and I walk them through their own LinkedIn profile. Like, who do you have in common in this company? You studied with this person in the same place. Start the conversation with that, So they have a lot of networking and data in their hands, and most of the times they don't know they do.
Yeah, that's great.
Something that is also very good is, for example, to use trade fairs. What's going on in your city? Where do you live? You live in Valencia, perfect. Which trade fairs are going to go there? Maybe try to download the exhibitor list, have a look at that, start calling.
Start prospecting them.
Google Maps is a great place,
You
for
mentioned
example.
this strategy several times, right? For roundtable events and
no, that's
all
great.
stuff.
And your day-to-day, like I used to tell my account executives, like, what are you doing this afternoon? Oh, my girlfriend wants to go shopping. Right, go shopping. Go to Sephora and take pictures of all the products that are imported or are about to be exported, and then you put them in your CRM.
It's thinking outside of the box and not just what a list of Sales Navigator can give us.
The other day I was at home.
Amazing.
No, the other way I was at home and we bought, say, blueberries, the small tray, plastic tray. And I was like, where do these blueberries come from? No, really. And I looked in the back and it said, like, this company from Spain. I immediately went to the CRM. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy now, but
No.
I searched for the company, and it effectively was a company that was very good, and we called it the next day, and we started a sales cycle from
Maybe
there.
they are bringing that from another currency or paying in another currency or
100%.
using whatever.
The same in the supermarket when you buy, for example, fish, prawns.
Salmon from Norway or whatever.
For Norway, the prawns are bought in Argentina. We recently worked with a company that was buying the shrimp from Argentina, a producer there. Okay, they bought it in dollars, sold it in euros. There's a trade there. That all comes from very basic stuff. Sales is not super complex.
No, but you have to be always
active.
Always active and always open and
exactly
understanding the
these
market.
are the traits of a top seller.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't work in sales from 9 to 5.
No.
I work in sales my whole life, right? And that's how you become the better. And that's why we were saying in the other episode that it's repetition and hard working beats talent 100%.
And for that reason, this profession is as well tough because it's hard to switch off, right?
Yeah.
As well, when I'm selling an online brand protection solution, so it's when I see a new brand, I said, "Oh, this can be faked." So this is a client of mine, so I can go after them. So it's always,
and even for a friend, like when you see someone or a product that you think, "Oh, I have a friend that is working selling this HR solution," and I don't know, I just walk in this company, they interview me, and it was the worst process ever, and I can tell that they can need the help. You're gonna refer that company to your friend who is in sales in another company because you cannot stop selling something.
Absolutely, that's crazy. So one thing that I have. Before jumping into that AI, I promise, it's we always say we're in the confessionary here. It's confessions of a seller. So we always talk about war stories about sales and things that happen in your daily basis or with your team. So I'm giving this introduction so you have time to think because this is not planned. But what are those stories, sales stories, war stories that you say, hey, we suffered with this client.
Yeah.
They made us go through pain, tears, and blood, and we lost them. And that leads us to understand that this strategy needs to be applied. Or on the other way, not only failures, wars or stories, but also accomplishments or things that went well.
Yeah, and the beautiful part, you both were sellers by yourself as well, right? You were on the market actively selling. So even if it was in the past when you were an active seller, yeah, we love to hear this war
failure and success stories that you can share with us. And what were the learnings?
No, I think that for example, one failure that I can bring in mind, maybe not a specific example, but go to the idea of where you guys are going, is when you try to hurry a sale. I think that creates you need to understand how to read a sale very good. We have many companies that we've wanted to rush the sale because we were in a tough quarter, we want to close the sale however we can. And then the client was like, hey, I don't know if I want this. I'm good with what I have. If you're rushing me, I'm going to just take a moment to think of it. And then you just go find him wherever he is. So you have to understand how to read this product. And then one that we had a win, for example, is we closed some interesting football deals that were very, very good. That we had fun. We went to the stadium. We went to see the client as well. You create a strong bond with them. You engage with the city. When we opened this football club, we engaged with the city very well. They showed us around. So it was very nice. Like sales also has this, like the human touch to it, but also you have to have the human touch both ways, because you cannot rush a sale or be super intrusive. Many times what happens is that account executives or salespeople consistently call the same client like 20 times a year. Imagine if you were on the other side. You receive 20 calls from the same person wanting to sell you whatever you want. You're not going to be wanting to. That won't happen. Like, no. It's the same when you get the spam calls. Yeah. Don't contact me. I'm good with what I have. That happens a lot. And this with new joiners, that they get a small lead of a sale, and then they just go for it the whole way. Okay, be patient. The guy needs to understand that, for example, we work on a financial we work on Revolut, a financial company. So many times companies already have a financial platform in place. They need to understand the value of what we are trying to
sell. It's a really thin line, being persistent and annoying.
Yeah. So what about you, Sonia? What do you think? What are those stories that you can say, hey, this marked me for my whole life?
I remember when I moved first for another market that it was not Southern Europe or Iberia. I'm very used to working in Italy, Spain, and Portugal, right? Because I've always been working for those markets. The first time is when in Teleperformance we started with the UK market for TikTok for business, lockdown, COVID period. So they had to call, and the people that we hired were from everywhere. Like I think there were 2 British, and the rest of them, like they didn't know about the British culture. And if you know the British culture, they will tell you yes 100 times because they're too polite to tell you no. Then you have to read that person a lot. So I thought, what do I do in order to teach them how to sell in UKI when I don't know how to sell in the UK? So I did a cold call session, and I did cold call in front of them. And I did such a terrible call. It was so bad, like so pathetic, that I had to call this person again and tell them, look, this was the worst call I've ever done. Like poor. Like if I were you, I would be hanging up right now, or I would be laughing at this point, when you call me again. He was laughing actually so bad at me recognizing that it was the worst call I've ever done. And I told him, I'm in front of my whole team. They all listened to this call. Can you believe that it was the worst call I've ever did in my lab? I'm sorry, but I'm Sonia. I'm from Spain. And I explained to him, we are leading this project here, and it was one of the biggest deals that we closed in the UK market.
Amazing.
Because he trusted me, because I was real. I was genuine. Like literally,
and
I know my product.
You can feel it from the other side of the phone, right?
Absolutely. Like from the product standpoint, I knew everything. I knew how it worked. I knew how to bring you a lot of gross profit with these pay-per-click campaigns. I know, right? But why would you trust me? And he trusted me because I was so real.
I lowered my barrier, and I am telling you. Hey,
I'm super vulnerable with you right now. Exactly. And I'm telling you, that was ridiculous in front of the team that I just picked up for this project.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
amazing. I think this is a perfect jump where we can transition to AI now, because it shows, like the empathy and the human touch in sales is so important to show them. But now with AI, we all know that, it's changing the landscape, right? It's changing from SDR to prospecting to the closing deals.
Jason, man.
Yeah.
I mean, basically companies like Jason, SDR, Reply, and the other companies out there, that it's basically, they are doing the job that we were used to do the first thing that we jump into a company. Right now, we have a company that it's prospecting on our behalf, closing on our behalf, meeting books on our behalf, building lists. So adding on top of what you're saying, basically. And it's like, this is changing the whole game. Right now, there is the go-to-market engineers, sales ops, rev ops, these new roles. How do you see the evolution of sales, the evolution of the skills of the new sellers, and how the AI is changing the way we do things right now?
I think that artificial intelligence, machine learning, it's the absolute future of every single company out there. You want it or not, it's something that's going to happen. It's happening in our daily lives as well, in every single aspect of our life as it is. How we evolve on how we take this tool as a way to add value to our job is going to be a challenge that we're going to be facing in the next few years. So, of course, in sales, it's no different than any other job. Like, we need to understand how these tools can do part of the automatic job or the systematic job that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. So if they help us do the prospecting, if they help us qualifying the lead correctly, everything is going to sum up to there. But I think that there is a certain line where on the other end, there is a person.
Mhm.
And when you are dealing with a person, you have to have this human touch. You can teach JSON or whichever artificial intelligence tool that you want how to be as humane as possible. But then when you understand that the other person is on the other side, that they have problems, they have issues, and many times that we've called a client, hey, no, today I'm in the hospital, I had this problem, I had this issue, I'm in vacations. These type of things, you know it as a human towards a human. But of course, artificial intelligence can help us do our job better, scale up better, qualify better, do the email, the cold outreach as well. But then when you have to develop a sale and then when you have to ask for referrals, which is ultimately the goal of every sale, no, is to sell this and then, okay, where can I scale up from this scale onwards? I think that's where the human touch gets on. But for the first part, at least in my opinion, we're going to have to be using and be more agile with these type of tools.